Hello and welcome to the Chauvin Arnoux UK channel. I'm David Savery with a quick start video series of the many features of the CA6117 Multifunction Installation Tester to help you get the most out of this capable instrument. I'm going to demonstrate how to save test results into the memory of the 6117 and how to recall that data or to transfer it to a PC. The 6117 has 1000 locations for storing results and two different formats, tree or table. By default, tree mode is in operation, so we'll start with that. I've just undertaken an insulation resistance test between live conductors and earth on my socket radial circuit, and I want to store the result. For the sake of example, we'll refer to this environment as the lab in Chauvin's UK headquarters. Upon the conclusion of any given test, the bottom soft key will show a floppy disk icon and an indication of how much memory has already been used. A new instrument will, of course, be at 0%. Pushing that soft key will take us into the save function, where we can organise results into sites, rooms and objects. The top soft key allows us to set parent sites, so I can use the cursor keys to rename the default here from site to headquarters. Now I'll use the second soft key to set a room within the HQ site. I'll change this label from room to lab. I can now navigate from that room to an object, which here I shall rename to socket. The object is the container in which I can store the result of my test. The instrument will ask which aspect of the test I'm storing. In this case, the test was between live parts to protective earth, and it confirms the result is recorded. To recall that result at any time, I can once again enter the Save menu, ensure my site, room and object of interest are selected, and drag out the data. The yellow status bars indicate this is a saved result rather than a live result. Each object can contain readings from a mixture of tests with up to 9 readings for each test category. A tick or a cross indicates whether the stored result passed or failed the set test parameters. Let's assume I'm on a second site, a plant room in a gym, where I'm now taking an impedance reading at a light. Once again, I go into the Save menu and I use the upper soft key to create a new site. Under the second soft key, I can set a room. These labels must be unique. Finally, I can create an object in that room, in this case, one that relates to where that test was performed. Finally, I can save my result. Within my Save menu, I now have 2 customized sites, each with 1 or more captured readings. I can of course add more sites, rooms and objects in this tree and branch fashion as I go about my day. One can of course create a tree structure in advance for any known site beforehand. Should you wish to erase any given site, room or object, simply select the target and push the third soft key that shows the waste bin icon. The second type of recording function is table mode. To select this, we need to go into the setup function on the dial selector. By choosing the table function, we'll clear the memory of any stored tree data, so to ensure any recorded results have been backed up before switching between save modes. As before, I'm going to undertake a test, in this case an R1-R2 dead test, again on a lighting circuit. To save this result, I once again push the lower soft key. I now have 1,000 memory locations to store data, and each location can contain a mix of individual results. If I select location 000, that's where my reading will now be stored. By pushing the lower soft key again, I can see that location 000 has a tick in the box, and once again I can use the cursor keys to pull that result from memory, the yellow status bar showing it's recalled rather than live data. Unlike tree mode, these results are only numerically organised rather than nested and labelled, so it's up to me as the operator to keep track of which location refers to where I'm testing. This mode is perhaps more useful if you work at one large site rather than different locations that need to be grouped. I'm now going to perform an insulation resistance test on a circuit here with a known fault and store the result. The top status bar shows here a pass limit set at 1 million ohms, but my live test is below that at 280 kiloohm. I'm going to save that result to location 000, which currently shows a tick. This was a live neutral to protective earth test, so I'll press OK and my reading is now stored. When I recall the results, location 000 now shows a red cross indicating one or more of the results it contains didn't pass the test parameters. Upon entering location 000, we can see the bad result, as we know was our insulation test. And although an earlier live to neutral test passed off camera, live course tested to earth failed. Certain tests with the 6117 may show up an error rather than an explicit result. Nonetheless, that error and the test parameters can also be captured. I'm going to perform a half times 30 mA RCD test on a unit here that is erroneously tripping at just 10 milliamps. We can see from the top soft key and lower status bar that we're undertaking the expected test. 30 milliamps, type AC, half times, standard. However, the RCD is unexpectedly tripped, which avoids the measurement and displays an error. At this point I can still press the save soft key and select the location I want this recorded to. When I recall the saved data, I can review the test parameters and the error message. Using the supplied USB cable and Chauvin's data view software, we can transfer stored results off the 6117 and onto a PC. The software will review the content of the 6117's memory and ask if we want to download it. In table mode, we'll see our labelled locations and the tests contained within. We can review pass or fail test results. The parameters of the insulation resistance test that failed can also be recalled, as can that off-camera test that passed. Finally, let's look at that RCD trip with the void result and error message. These results can be exported as PDF or spreadsheet data. And that's it for saving data on the 6117. Aside from saying you should always back up saved results often and not leave data in memory in case your instrument should be lost, stolen or damaged. If you haven't already, do review the wider range of videos in this series to appreciate the power of this instrument.